to use the opportunities tab in the AdWords interface to find new ways to reach your customers. And last but not least, how to use the numbers that Google gives you to optimize your advertising to get better results for the money you're spending. Let's get into it. Know your objective. A lot of times, people don't know what they want. Like, have you ever seen that Vico turmeric ad that plays in every cinema theater everywhere across India? Okay, I see that approximately, some 5-6 times a month. Okay, have I ever wanted to go Vico turmeric in my life? Never. So obviously, in this case, the person, Vico turmeric's marketing manager or operator, does not know their audience. They do not know that if let's say they show you the ad of GDK1 in Inox. What's the typical product GDK1 like? Your basic, let's say 15 to 25-year-olds make up like 80% of the footfall there. These guys are not likely to be interested in Vico turmeric. Likewise, if they show it at, let's say, Anand Theatre in Secunderabad, where a significantly older population shows up, they may have better results. Correct? So in this case, these guys don't know their audience and their advertising is not optimized at all. That's just one example of this thing. And they also don't know what they want to accomplish. The only objective they have is their KPI, their key performance indicator is how many people see my ad. This is something from the 1970s, back from the Mad Men era, back when the only way to measure an ad's performance was how many people see your ad. It's completely out of date. It still has its place. I'm not saying impressions are valueless, but there are much better ways to do it, as I'll show you. So, starting. What do you want to accomplish? You have to decide. I'm getting into online marketing, right? What do I want from online marketing? Do I want people to come and see my site? Do I want people to just see my ad? Am I happy if somebody sees my ad? Am I selling stuff online? I want to sell stuff. I'm selling cell phones, I'm selling books, I'm on Flipkart, I am Make My Trip. I want people to give me money directly through my webpage. E-commerce. Then lead generation. I am ICICI Prudential. I am Birla Sun Life. I want people to enter their phone numbers and email address on my website so that my sales agents can call these guys and make the sale, complete the sale. Going back to branding. Branding is the most basic, the most fundamental form of advertising. I want people to see my ad. Google has many ways to accomplish that. You can do whatever you want. In this case, we would do something we call eCPM. We would pay you by eCPM, which is we would pay a certain amount of money for every 1,000 people that see your ad. As simple as that. And very good, that's going to be useful. Can anybody give me an example of a scenario where branding is useful, where impression-based advertising is useful? Anyone?
When Chrome was released, it was advertised by the name Google Chrome. So people began downloading it, and it's now the best web browser in the world. It's regarded as the best web browser. So the name Google has added it.
That's good. So what I'm getting from your side, you're saying in the case of a new product, which people don't know about.
New startups.
Exactly, startups, unknown brands. Like today Amazon is huge, but there was a day when Amazon was a small site and sold only books. So you can't advertise on Google in the confidence that people know who I am and people are going to be searching for my product. Somebody who's completely unknown, somebody who's coming from behind with no exposure in the world at all, should still be able to use Google effectively. And for them, branding is perfect. Then going to traffic. If you have a site and your KPI is just how many people come to my site, you're not that concerned about whether people buy online or not, still building up your brand, you're fairly well known. In that case, you go for the traffic model of advertising. You will tell us, okay fine, I will pay you X dollars per click. And it's usually a very insignificant amount in most sectors. You can get decent results for I think around $0.10 to $0.56 dollars. That's our usual CPC average. And the nice thing is, every year we've been following Google financial results. The CPCs, average CPCs across the hundreds of billions of clicks we get every year, average CPCs are going down. Right? This may seem like a bad thing, but it's a good thing for you. It's a good thing for the advertiser. It's a good thing for the people who give us money. Because we are showing more and more ads to more and more relevant users. It's a truism on AdWords that the more targeted your ad is, the more high quality your ad is, the more high quality your website is, you will pay us less money. Because you may say that, okay fine, I'll pay you, $200 a click. If your website is crappy, it doesn't matter. If you're selling, if you're trying to scam your users, if you're trying to sell them low quality products, if nobody likes your site, we don't really care. You can place how much ever you want, but you'll still be like at position 9 or 10. You will not get at position 1. Whereas a guy who has really high quality stuff on his site, who cares about his users, who has taken the time to make a website that's relevant to their interests, he will get the click, he will get the top position, and therefore all the traffic. And finally, the e-commerce model, very simple. You can come, you can tell us, okay, you can give him however many clicks you want. You can land up with 10,000 clicks a minute, but I will give you money only when people buy stuff. We are fine with that. That's called the CPA model of advertising, the cost per acquisition. An acquisition can be anything. It can be people buying a vacation package on your site. It can be people signing up for your newsletter. It can be people signing up for your weekly email bulletin or whatever it is. Any kind of action, you can tell us what that action is. We will help you set up what we call conversion tracking. And using this, we will charge you only when people buy stuff. Right? Yeah, finally. And after that, lead generation, it's the same concept, but probably a lead will be of less value for you than a conversion. You can set that up also. You can, if you're, let's say, if you make my trip, if a guy comes in and gives you his email address and says, call me back about
subscription.
Yeah, call me back about this particular vacation package you have or whatever it is. That's of less. Exactly, that's subscription. That's what we call lead generation. And we can charge you separately for those leads, which are less value to you, and we can charge you a higher price for the conversions as well. Right? Moving on. Know your audience. This is the most important part of any marketer's thing. So normally in traditional advertising, people are used to this model of advertising. It's the 3-moment model, starting with the stimulus. Stimulus can be, you're driving from Pandiguta to Bandara Hills. You see a billboard for a new Adidas showroom somewhere. That's a stimulus. Then the first moment of truth is when you actually go to the Adidas showroom for whatever reason, you buy a pair of shoes. You buy it, you convert, you buy a pair of shoes. And the second moment of truth is when you put on those shoes, you go outside, your friends say, ooh, nice shoes now. That's the second moment of truth. But with Google, we have changed that. We have what is called the 0 moment of truth. And the 0 moment of truth is, my friend, these days, the most valuable part of the advertising. The 0 moment of truth is not when you see something, nothing connects with you at the emotional level. It's when, no matter where people go looking for information about your product, whether they're on Facebook, whether they're on G+, whether they're on Twitter, whether they're on YouTube, whether they're on their phones searching for your products, you are there. Your presence is there, a presence that you directly control. Not just some blogger writing about your product, your company, but your presence directly, whether you're Make-My-Trip, whether you're Nokia, Samsung, Sony, your information, what you want to communicate to customers out there. And this video on the next slide communicates that perfectly. Okay, that's the direct example, sir. Okay, give me a second. Sorry, it's here. Yes, technology has there.
Buying behavior has changed. In almost every category, consumers have many more choices than they've ever had before.
We used to have a website and felt like we were present. Now it's so important to create platforms where you can engage your consumers and exchange information.
In today's marketplace, you have to be out there on the internet. You have to be out there on social media. Our job is to be closer to our customers, to be there when they're looking for things about our company.
The process of meeting those shopping needs begins at the 0 moment of truth.
Have you been in a store and seen a buyer with a smartphone taking a picture of a product to learn more about that product, to read a rating or review while standing in the aisle? These are all 0 moments of truth.
The consumer is going in every day, typing in new browsers, they're actively sharing with you.
As we connected people at the 0 moment of truth, we are seeing people sign up and want to know more and be part of movements and communities.
It applies in a consumer and in a business-to-business context.
If we hadn't embraced ZMod, we would not exist today as a business.
0 moment of truth defines not only what the shopper is doing, but the future of marketing. Ask yourself, who on my team has as his or her primary job helping us win the 0 moment of truth?
Buying behavior has changed.
So that was what we at Google call the 0 moment of truth model. And see that little URL out there? There are tons of ebooks, tons of videos like the one you just saw telling you how to connect to your clients, how to connect to your potential customers better, and where they are. Where they are and where you are. These two things are very important. Let's say your client is a Tumblr fan. Have you used the site Tumblr?
Yes.
Tumblr is a blogging site, right? If that's where the people you target are. For example, I think a great example would be Converse shoes. There are a lot of Tumblr blogs about basically shoes big thing on Tumblr. And if you are a shoe retailer and you are not there on Tumblr, then people are going to buy your stuff. Let's say you're targeting young women in the range of 16 to 24. If they're there on that site and you are not there, that's a wasted sale. There are people out there looking for your product and you're not there. That's what the zero moment tool is all about. Being there when your clients are looking for you.
It's about, what do you say? It's about getting the coolest stuff from. It's about knowing the coolest stuff, right?
It's about being in the coolest places.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's what we'd like to say. That means that you're there on mobile, that you're there on YouTube, you're on Facebook, you're on Google+, you're on Twitter, you're on everywhere your customers please.
How do I know that this is the happening place on the net?
I'll come to that. There are resources that we have for that, and I will come to that. You don't have to know these are happening places. That's the beauty with Google AdWords. You don't have to know. We will figure it out for you. This is a Xenon study that happened on consumer electronics. I realized that the font size could have been larger. So, I'll walk you through it. So, this is the stimulus part of the presentation. So, the stimulus consists of things like seeing an ad in a paper, of noticing an ad while you're randomly browsing online on the internet, seeing a product at your house. And by the way, seeing a product at a friend's house, that's a huge influence. If you go to a friend's place and he's got this cool 15 Samsung or an iPad 2 or whatever it is, you're going to want one for yourself. That's true, right? Yeah. That's a major part of why people buy stuff. And that is the stimulus part of it. But if you look at this, in a survey conducted across about 2,000 people who were walking in and out of stores in North America, this is kind of, I think, Radio Shack, Circuit City, a lot of consumer electronics stores. About a large percentage of them, we see that little bar over there, and see how so much higher than the rest. These people said these sources influenced them the most. And what are those sources? They are searching online with a search engine, which is obviously google.com or Bing, Yahoo, whichever one you may like. It's talking with friends about a product, social media, Twitter, Google+, Facebook. Your friend says, "Oh, my new Reeboks are so cool." You're going to want to check them out. Talking with friends and family about the product, which can again mean directly, and reading reviews about the product online. If you have reviews, get that site on Google AdWords. Finally, getting the retailer website. And how do they get the retailer website? Again, through Google. Now, all these are zero moments of truth when you have to be there and capture your consumer's attention. If they are there and you are not there, you're losing sales, you're losing money. Get on it as soon as possible. And after that, the final moment of truth, which is when you're actually holding the product in your hand, which is when you're looking at the package in the store. When you're talking to a salesperson in the store. Oh, and while you're on salespeople, the nice thing about the internet is that you very often know more about the product than the guy who's trying to sell it to you in the store. Have you ever experienced that? Yes. Have you tried going to, let's say, name a mobile phone store you like? Universal, okay, Universal. Have you ever experienced it when you go to Universal and you ask for a certain model, you know exactly what you want. You're not interested in these guys coming and trying to sell to you whatever gets them the highest commission. Right?
Yeah, that's the reason why I bought a Sony Ericsson phone instead of Nokia.
Exactly. You know what you want. And you know exactly what that phone is capable of. He will come and say, "Sir, this has 5 megapixels, sir, this has 800 megapixels processor." I mean, okay, I've already seen it on Google. I know exactly what this is all about. And that's so amazing because in the previous days, even as small a time as 5 or 10 years ago, there was nothing. You could not get information on products online at all. You had to go to the store and look at it, ask the guy what it's capable of. And this applies across every single electronics or actually any product that you can think of. Whether it's a TV, whether it's a microwave oven, you very often know all about the product before you actually go and buy it. Probably the only reason you're going to the shop is to go, say, pack it up for me, bill along, take it and go. That's all people do at stores these days. The whole era of going into shops, going across some 5,000 shops, figuring out which is the best price, all that is over. These days we know exactly which shop has the product we want. We know exactly how much we're charging for it. We know exactly what the product is capable of doing.
No need to go to shops also. There is Jabong and.
Yeah, I personally do a lot of online shopping.
You can even get groceries at home.
Exactly. Have you ever heard of a site? I'll give you an example. There's a site called takeitThatone.com. TakeitThatone. Have you ever heard of takeitThatone.com? It was launched by an ex-schooler, one of my friends. He is from Bangalore. Now, one major hole in the retail, the grocery market these days is, let's say it's Friday night or Saturday night, late night, you're at home, friends have come over, you're having a small party in your house, tragedy happens. You run out of mixers, you run out of chips, you're hungry and you want Maggi, there's nothing there, and no shop is going to be open at that time. And let's say you stay on somewhere in the outskirts, you'll have to travel, let's say you stay in, what example can I give? Let's say you stay in Senipuri. The closest place you have to get food is at Hyderabad, Paradise. That's the only place you're going to get food. What do you do at that time? That whole, niche audience is what takeitThatone.com targets. What they do is, they work only from 10 p.m. to 4:30 a.m. Okay? From 10 at night to 4 in the morning. And they have a range of products they have. You can just call them up. They will charge a flat rate of 100 rupees per delivery. Okay? They'll charge you 100 bucks for delivery service. But everything you buy is at MRP. The same price you pay in the shop. And they'll give you soft drinks, they'll give you Coke, Red Bull, whatnot. They will deliver Maggi, they'll deliver chips. They'll deliver milk even. Let's say you want to make coffee and out of milk. They will deliver milk to you. Think about what an amazing thing this is. This guy found a niche audience which nobody else has thought of targeting. And he's put his stuff into it. He's put his brains into it. And do you know what he uses for delivery network? He uses Google AdWords to find people who are looking for jobs online and tells them, hey, if you have a two-wheeler, if you have a bike and you're in Bangalore, I'll pay you 70 bucks per delivery. Okay, so you're paying 100 bucks. After 100 bucks that you pay for the service, 70 rupees goes to the driver who's coming and giving you your stuff, and 30 rupees is the company's profit. Good business model, no? They plan to work in Hyderabad
Do you
soon.
think they have decent customer level?
They have a lot of customers. I'm not kidding you at all.
For that, it has to be spread branches all over the place.
No, he has some very specific areas. I'll tell you why. In Hyderabad, if you are in Madhapur, for example, what kind of people stay in Madhapur?
Techies. Bureaucratic.
Techies. Madhapur is where people working at basically every company in high-tech city will want to stay. They don't say that they will want to stay there. And if they have friends staying in Madhapur, the likelihood they're going to be at their friends' place over the weekend as well. Or at least for one night. So, and these are the kind of people who will be unable to ordering online, who are scavenging on internet order online, and who are likely to need his services at the time he's offering them, right? I mean, if you go to, let's say, Secunderabad, it's a fairly, residential area where families stay. You won't have that much of bachelors or single people staying around. And families are not likely to be up at 3 o'clock in the morning wanting to eat Maggi. He's targeting the exact audience that he wants to target. He's targeting basically the 19 to 28 age range. People who work in IT companies, people who work really hard during the week and want to have some enjoyment during the weekends, who stay up late at night, watching TV, watching movies, talking to friends, all these things. So that is the importance of targeting people. That is the importance of finding a business, knowing who you're going to deliver your services to, and then pushing the information across to them.
Don't that product expensive?
Why would that make the product expensive?
Travel expense and like employer charges.
You're paying a little more, you're paying the 100 rupees extra. But let's say, you're getting something at that time when nobody else is delivering to you.
And where do they get the products from at the middle of night?
They would have had their stock. It's not like they go to a shop and buy stuff.
They
They
need to
have
focus their sleep, right? They need to focus their sleep around.
Exactly. So none of us are strangers to working the night shifts, right? I mean, there are a lot of night shift workers also. And if you're working the night shifts and you come home at 2 in the morning every day, and you have a sudden craving for Maggi, you don't have dinner at the office, whatever reason it may be, he's going to have there for you. And you're paying a little extra for the service. I'm not saying that's not there. But again, you get what you pay for. That's true in this world.
For a single 20 rupees Maggi packet, if we pay 100 rupees off.
Exactly. So if you're going back to another example, but again, you don't have to buy one single Maggi packet, but consider that you can't get anywhere else. If you have to go to Secunderabad from Senipuri at 2 o'clock in the morning, auto charges are going to rape your wallet. Okay, he's not going to take less than what, 250 bucks? Yeah, he won't take less than 250 bucks, and that's if you're lucky. Or if you have your own vehicle, you're going to end up spending on 40-50 bucks on petrol to go all the way there and come. Your time is going to be waste. Just you pick up the phone, tell some like he'll come to your house, give you your stuff, and that's for 100 rupees.
This is only when your house is completely empty. Like
Which is not unusual. You haven't been to my house, obviously.
We'll be having at least biscuits at least. So we can
Then you haven't been to my
house.
What about the ROI factor? Because we have visitors who are not all of them convert to leads, right? So let's say if 10 people come to my website, the guy's website, and the guy pays up to like let's say 15 cents. So ultimately he has to spend out 70 rupees on the ads, okay? 70 rupees on the the delivery man, and 30 rupees comes up. So the ROI goes negative.
It's not necessarily true. If you look at the ROI factor, let's say that your average order size is, let's leave this example, let's go a general example, any e-commerce site, your average order value is some 200 rupees, that's how much you can order. And out of that 200 rupees, your profit margin based on simply on the value of the goods themselves, your profit margin is, let's say if it's 30 rupees, and you have a budget, you have a profit of 30 rupees, and you have to allocate some to overhead, which is advertising in this case. So let's say that, okay, I will allocate 5% of my profit to advertising. 5% of 30 bucks is how much in this case?
1.5.
1.5, okay. So then you will tell us, I will not pay more than 1.5 per click, no matter what happens. And you will factor in the percentage of people that convert after clicking as well. So every one of our advertisers have their own sales models in mind. For example, Nokia tells us, we will not pay more than, I think, 60 pounds per conversion. Which means they have done the math on their end. And they have figured out that if they spend 60 pounds per conversion, they are still getting their ROI out of the advertising. It's still worth the money they are putting in. The math is that you will have to do this research before you do it. But you can generally tell us that forget the clicks thing. You can define a CPC, you can define a maximum bid as the cost per click. But you will also define a daily budget. You will tell us I will not spend more than this much in a day. So you can do it and allocate, let's say you spend 100 rupees a day, you will be spending what, 3,000 bucks a month. And that's not much. If you're getting enough clicks, you have an advertising budget, right?
It's all optimizing.
You have to optimize it, and we'll come to that. So that's for remote and consumer electronics. Finally, we have what we call interrupters. So interrupters in the world of online advertising are sources of data, that just interrupt your thought process and give you new information, making you change your decision. Search engines in this case are interrupters because, have you heard of the two-screen model of TV advertising?
Oh yes.
The two-screen model?
Compare the things. The two-screen, they compare the things. This is good, this is bad.
Before and after?
Is this what you want to say?
No, the two-screen model is basically relies on the fact that everybody these days has some kind of internet-enabled device they carry around, which could be your smartphone, if you're at home with your iPad or tablet PC or your laptop or whatever. The idea is that if you see an ad for a new cell phone online, right, you think, oh, this looks nice, Galaxy Note 2 for example. This looks nice, what can it do? You maybe go to google.com and do that. So, research has shown that when product launches are happening, and if they're televised or the first ad for a new product online is going up, searches for that particular product shoot up on google.com. So these are people who could potentially be your customers, okay? And at that moment, they engage with your product. But if they search, or if they're on a site, wherever they are, if they're on YouTube, if they search on google.com and your ads are not there, you're missing out on an engagement opportunity. You're not able to engage the customer at the time you're looking for your product, and that's a big missed opportunity. Search engines are that estimator. These are searches for the insurance category of finance. Let's say life insurance, car insurance, health insurance, whatever insurance you want. And you can see how the searches vary. You can see the little peak over there here. That means more people are searching. And at that point in time, you should ideally increase your budgets, your daily budgets, to make sure you're getting all these people who search to visit your site, not a competitor's site. These are insights you get from Insights Research very easily. I'll show you how to do that later as well. Video interrupters. How many of you have used YouTube videos for reviews, for product reviews? An example, please.
Sony launched it, what do you call it? Xperia series. Like when it when the collaboration between Ericsson stopped, it has launched 3 new phones.
Yeah,
so I was thinking about them.
And you saw video reviews online. Are they helpful? Do you think that?
Yeah, they were definitely helpful because I got to know what technology is there apart from the previous versions of phones.
And did it have a positive influence on decision for you to purchase the phone?
Yeah, I had.
Yeah, that's a brilliant example. This is a perfect time for something we call in-video static text overlay. Very complex term. What it boils down is, you give us a text ad or an image ad, it can be any format of ad, and tell us, I want to show this ad on videos about smartphones. So in this example, when you were looking for the Sony ad, right? Ideally, Sony should have had an advertisement right there. Click through to the Sony.com site, and with any luck at all, the customer will convert right there. He'll be convinced so much of the value of the phone, the fact that it's appropriate for what you want from a smartphone, he'll buy it right there. And there are videos about anything and everything on YouTube.com. I don't have to tell you guys this, you probably know more than me. I'm not really a big YouTube watcher, even though I sell YouTube videos. But there are videos about anything. If you're looking for videos on how to, deform cats or train dogs, there's probably a video there. And there are people who will have products appropriate to this. If you're training a dog, if you're looking at a video that's teaching how to train a dog, and you're a person who sells whatever, maybe dog collars, dog leashes, any kind of dog related product, just the fact that the advertiser knows he's not showing his ad to random people, but only to people who have a dog or are at the very least interested in dogs. Don't you think that's a major multiplier to the value of advertising? Going back to a Vico example, Vico has no clue who's going to be in the cinema theatre, but they still insist on showing their ads 5 times at the movie. Isn't that a waste of advertising time? Isn't that a waste of money? In this case, this lady is talking about auto insurance. If an auto insurance company shows their ad there, they at least have the confidence that somebody who is interested in auto insurance is looking at my ad. That increases the probability of a final conversion by at least, 100%. At the minimum, at the very least. That's the brilliance of online advertising. You can target exactly who you want, how you want, define how much you pay for it, anything. And social network interrupters, which can be, these days it's mostly Facebook and Twitter, the Google Plus is coming up maybe big time, don't discount it. If your friend has bought a new pair of Reeboks, going back to the shoes example, if your friend has bought a new pair of Reeboks, don't you think that if Reebok showed an ad at the same time, you might be tempted to buy some yourself? Because, and this is what I learned from a session I had with a person called Raju back in London when I was visiting my team over there. He told us that no matter what happens, whether you look at the specs, whether you know the specifications of your new cell phone, you know everything there is to know about it. But nothing can match that emotional feeling you get when you hold it for the first time. Isn't that right? So you have to connect emotionally at that level. Only then your advertising will be successful. And the best, the most invaluable way of doing it is via social media. Because nothing holds as strong a value for us as friend's recommendation. Somebody that you trust, somebody that you believe knows what they're talking about. If they recommend that product to you, you're much more likely to buy it than if some random guy comes on TV, whether it's Amitabh Bachchan or whether it's Shah Rukh Khan. When he comes on TV and tells you, hey, it's an awesome product, please buy it. Not really relevant to you, is it? I mean, yeah, they're big people, I'm sure Shah Rukh Khan is a very nice man, but he doesn't have the same value to you as a friend does. And that's where the power of Google Plus social extensions come in. Social extensions will tell you when you're searching for a microwave. Let's say you're searching for a microwave, and your friend has gone and bought a microwave from 3 days back, and he or she has been nice enough to go and +1 that page on Google. Or for the sake of expanding he's going to like that manufacturer. There's Kenstar, Whirlpool, IFB, whatever.
LG.
Yeah, LG. Whatever manufacturer it is, they've gone and liked that, or they've gone and +1 it. And when you search for it on Google.com, that result will come up more likely, and you'll say, hey, ABC has also +1 this. Don't you think that will make you much more likely to visit that page instead of the other search results you get? That's the power of social today. Let's talk about how the buying cycle works. It starts with recognition. You think, okay, there is a product. This is a product that I might want. Let me find out more about it. Then you start the explore phase of the buying cycle, which is when you start looking for more information about the certain product that you're looking for. You think, okay, fine. Let me think, okay, do I want a Sony Ericsson? Do I want a Nokia? Do I want a Samsung? Whatever. And then you go to the risk reward phase of the buying cycle, which is, what if something happens? What if I buy the phone and it breaks? What if I buy it and it's broken and they don't give me a warranty repair and it's screwed, I'll have to go to so much trouble, go to the service center, be without a phone for so long. That's the risk phase. And finally, the decision, okay, this is what I'm going to buy. I have decided that I am going to buy a Samsung 48-inch LED plasma and I'm going to go to the shop and buy it tomorrow. And at last the action, which is when you go and actually buy the thing. So at each phase of the buying cycle, you can use native online media. Recognition, show your display ads to people using Google AdSense, using the Google Display Network. Explore. When they search for that particular product in google.com, make sure your ads are there, make sure your message is what comes across to users. The decision phase. When they search again, because obviously people don't remember websites in their mind, right? A lot of times people just go to Google and search for websites. Interesting trivia. You know the number one search term on Google is? Do you know what the number one searched for term on google.com is? Facebook. People don't go to the URL bar and type in facebook.com. They come to Google, search for Facebook and then go. So Google has become a kind of like a gateway to internet. I give you another example. One day I got my grandmother laptop, my grandmother and grandfather. So my father and their other sons live abroad. So to communicate with their grandchildren, we got them a laptop and set them up with Skype and Hangouts and Google Talk calling and whatnot. Suddenly one day they opened it and that day there was a Google Doodle. It wasn't the usual Google logo, it was Google Doodle. They panicked. They lost it. They like, internet, where is the internet? For them, Google was the internet. And the day Google changed their logo to no longer look like the Google they before they knew and loved, they panicked. So for most people, Google is a gateway to the internet. And even if most tech savvier people would come directly to the website, the population, a large part of the population, will type in the search on google.com and then come to your website. That's the power of online media. That's where you need to be. That's why you should be on AdWords. Let's know about the Google Display Network. You know the GDN is?
Content Network.
Yeah, the Google Content Network. We used to call it the GCN, but now we call it the GDN. What the GDN is, it's basically a network of millions of sites who told Google, hey, I want you to show your ads on my website, and you will give that person money for it. I think the revenue share is about 70% to 30%. You get 70% of the clicks that come from your website, and we keep 30% of it. How it works is like this. Again, the color contrast is not great, but anyway, starting with the awareness phase again, we have something called audience engagement. So you may not know exactly what category your products fall under, but you do know that your products are bought by people who have a college education, people who are between the age range of 18 to 28, people whose household income is above, let's say, 30,000 a month. You know all these areas from market research. So you can come to Google, you can go to AdWords, and you can tell us, hey, show my ads to these people. I want my ads to be shown to people between the age of 18 to 28 who have a college education and who earn more than 30,000 a month.
How can they know about the earning and all? Like, how much do they earn and all?
Have you ever tried signing up to a random site? No, there are so many sites these days, which when you just want to view an article on the site, you ask you register, and they ask you all these different questions. Like if you spend half your time on the internet looking at, what do girls look for then?
It's something like girl and boy thing, like technology and everything?
No, other stuff. Like I know that girls always spend a lot more time looking for clothes on the internet than I do, for example.
Bags.
Handbags, perfect example. If you are known to visit sites that sell or talk about handbags on a frequent basis, you can make a reasonably justifiable assumption that you are female. And depending on the site you visit, if they are the trendier side rather than your old-fashioned high-end leather bag sites, you are between the age range of 18 to let's say 30. And if you are known to buy from these sites, you have a good amount of disposable income, which is again good because my customers want to target that. And on the other side, and that means you have a good job, which means it's more than likely you have college education. So there are a lot of influences you can draw. So what I would like you to do after this session is, go Google for target pregnancy. So target is the stolen levers. Target pregnancy scare or something, you should find the story. The story is basically that using certain online and offline signals, Target, which is a major department store chain in the US, is able to identify whether the customers become pregnant or not. Customers are pregnant currently or not. This had very unfortunate consequences once. You will see the story. Because pregnancy is what we call a watershed moment. Say you're the person who spends their entire life shopping at Spencer's. You shop at Spencer's and not at football or at Reliance Fresh or any other department store. You shop at Spencer's. So that's what you've always done. Likewise, me, when I want to buy clothes, I usually go to Shoppers Stop. I'm used to it. That's where it goes easy for me, convenient for me. But when a woman becomes pregnant, her behavior can change. If, for example, Reliance Fresh is closer to the house, or they have a larger range of baby products, or if they sell, infant safe foods or whatever, things like that, the behavior is likely to change because of that pregnancy. And that is the moment when you have to pounce on that and make them your customer to somebody else's customer. Because making somebody change a lifelong habit is not easy. I'll just go for that and see the steps today, not explaining very well. Anyway. Then after awareness, we have the interest phase when somebody knows that you're interested in a particular product. So for that, we have a product called contextual targeting. So you come to us and you tell AdWords, hey, these are certain keywords that talk about my product. The keywords may be, going back technology example, Samsung Galaxy, Nokia Lumia, Android smartphones, general smartphones, popular smartphone apps, draw something, Angry Birds, things like that. Whenever somebody is looking at pages that mention these words, again we can draw a very reasonable assumption that they are interested in the smartphone category of products. So you will tell Google if people are looking for sites that contain these terms or variations of these terms, please show my ads on that site. And that gives you very targeted advertising with a very high probability that you're reaching the right users. That's what we call contextual targeting. And likewise, we also have something called interest category targeting. So if you sign into Google.com and you're searching and you enable search history, which is an opt-in feature, not an opt-out feature, you have to specifically tell us I want to opt into it. Based on the stuff that you search for, we can classify you into certain interest categories. We can say, okay, fine, this person searches for a lot about Xbox games. So if Microsoft is launching a new Xbox, they will tell Google, they will tell Google, hey, I want you to show my ads to all users in this interest category, which could be video games, could be game consoles, and extrapolating from that, general technology stuff. And we know which users are interested in those things, and we will show ads directly to them and only to them, to no one else. My grandmother won't see Xbox ads, for example. She's not going to buy one. Likewise, we have similar users targeting, which is similar to something called remarketing, which will come later in the next session. We'll talk about that then. And finally, there's something called display plus search. Now, don't you think that the disconnect between display and search advertising? We have one part of advertising, display, which shows things stuff from topic targeting, interest targeting, contextual targeting. And then you have the search keyword targeting, which is people search for this term, I want my ads to be shown. How do we bring those things together? Now, the result is what we call display plus search, what is technically called search companion marketing. The search companion marketing is where you tell us that if there are users who have searched for these terms on Google.com, and from Google.com they go to a certain site, whatever site that may be, if that site is a member of the GDN, if that site is part of the Google Display Network, I want you to show my ads there. So you are engaging them both on the search results page, but you lost that opportunity. You're not having managed to engage them there. For whatever reason, your ad wasn't high enough, your ad text wasn't interesting enough, or maybe the user just didn't want to click on an ad and click on a search result page. You have another chance to engage them on whatever page they go there. The beauty of this is, it gives you two chances of engagement, number one. And the second part is display advertising accepts images and animation-based advertising as well, which in that case, even an impression can be more valuable than a normal text ad impression. That's what I'm saying. A text ad can be informative, can be engaging, but as the old saying goes, an image is worth 1,000 words, and our text ads are only about 90 characters long. You can't really put 1,000 words in there. So a single image ad's impression can be as valuable or more valuable than a click on a text ad. Because with the image ad, you have the chance, the probability that your customer, your client, your user is keeping your product in mind to go back to later. That probability is much higher with an image ad on the display network rather than a text ad on the search network. And finally, we have...
It helps you to connect with your imagination.
Exactly. Because humans are visual creatures. We prefer visual stimuli, textual stimuli. And this...
Then to read and analyze and again imagine the product. Directly getting the
exactly.
How does Google keep track of our interests without we signing in?
Yeah.
So if we sign in, say there's no problem, it keeps track and shows what. But without signing in, all this is not possible because it cannot keep track of what our interests are.
Without signing in, then what we do is we have something called session-based targeting. If you spend half an hour browsing the internet on one single computer, we will show ads based on whatever you searched for during that time. And when you close your browser, that session ends, and that will be automatically destroyed. We won't show ads based on that any further.
So is this thing something related to artificial intelligence or something like that? Because it decides like what is your interest and it goes to that point.
Yeah, so that's pretty easy to infer. It's not really specific to artificial intelligence. I don't know the algorithm behind it, but I know how it works. All that we need is a certain history of what you searched for in the past, and then we match it up to certain categories we have now. And the advertisers have told us, I want people to see ads in these categories and no other categories, and we just match A and B and show them so they actually.
Where and how this